Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you for joining today's presentation. I'm Abu Al Imran. Today, our topic of webinar is cybersecurity for international development projects. We are going to talk about the need of cybersecurity in international development projects, but in detail, we will discuss about all sectors. It's not only international development projects, but how international development projects can be benefited by ensuring their cybersecurity, because this is a sector really needs cybersecurity to be strengthened, especially when it comes for dealing with national level patient data or something similar to that. Cybersecurity should be the first priority. So today we are going to have as a presenter Dr. Niraj Kak, who has years of experience on managing international development projects. And also we have a technical presenter, Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman, who is going to present who is the technical presenter for today's webinar session. So I'm handing over to Dr. Niraj Kak to have an introductory presentation on cybersecurity for international development.
Thank you, Imran, for inviting me for making this presentation. And also I want to thank Dr. Rahman, as well as all the participants who joined this webinar from different regions of the world. I think this is my honor to be here to make a presentation on this issue. Over the years, cybersecurity has become a big issue everywhere, whether it's in the developed part of the world or if you're in the developing parts of the world. The challenge for the groups that we work with, groups that are involved in development work, be it health, be it other social development programs, they often don't have resources to invest in strengthening cybersecurity. They may have computers, they may have LAN or WAN, but they just don't have the kind of guidance or advice in terms of how do they ensure that, be it internal abuse of information, particularly these days we have a lot of personally identifiable information regarding beneficiaries, patients, etc., or be it from external threats, because that's also, there are a lot of external agents that constantly pry on smaller groups. You probably have read where groups take people's databases as hostage and seek money, ransom, etc. So there are a lot of issues. Not that these issues are new, but things are only getting much worse. So let me go over in terms of my slides are not moving. Imran, is there something I'm not doing right? Oh, okay. So if you look at cybersecurity, it encompasses use of defensive measures and activities that prevent exploitation or misuse of the cyber infrastructure within the sector. And for typical agency, whether these are governments, whether it's small NGOs, it could be now related to medical devices. As you know, that with increasing use of Internet of Things, a lot of these medical devices are now connected to the larger IT infrastructures, laboratory systems and networks, because we want results to be transmitted quickly. So again, information that's passing through these networks or is being stored could be exploited. Hospital and treatment center information systems, patient and client databases, hardware components that are driven by different internet-based drivers, as well as software. So why cybersecurity for development programs? If you look at cybersecurity mechanisms and techniques that help prevent attacks on systems and networks, And for attack to be defined as any action that hinders normal functionality or normal system operations or allows an unwanted individual or group access to a system or network. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, there have been large systems that have been taken hostage for ransom. I mean, even organizations that have plenty of resources, whether these are different banks where their databases get breached and then put on sale by vested interests. So I think that really makes a point that you may have resources, but if you're not using those resources appropriately, you are at risk. But then when we talk about governments in partner countries or NGOs, they just don't have resources or guidance in terms of how best to use their limited resources. The next point is cybersecurity can help to manage or mitigate risks resulting from inside or external actors, malware, and or other external attacks on the IT infrastructure. So if we have the right infrastructure for cybersecurity, it can streamline auditing, reporting, configuration management, and system patching. So it's, again, an issue of connectivity. And as I said earlier, with more and more IoTs being introduced, it becomes all the more important. As much as the cyber dimensions connects multiple types of infrastructure, it's constantly evolving. So I think it's very important that companies or organizations have the right people or have access to right guidance, so they are constantly evaluating threats to their infrastructure and updating it. So rationale for it, client privacy, I just talked about PII, the personally identifiable information. So we want to make sure we protect that information so that no one steals that information. Vulnerabilities of legacy systems. We have older systems in many places, so they're more likely to be breached. Challenges of IT in healthcare. Now, if we look at it, IT in health systems is still limited, but as we move to more and more electronic health records, whether these are federated systems or decentralized systems of information, whether they're hosted by information service provider networks or whether they're hosted by national governments, they're all at risk. So if they are not ensuring proper cybersecurity in their systems, those systems could be breached. Security breaches in healthcare. In 2020, the healthcare industry saw hackers taking advantage of COVID-19 fears. One example involved an email about a supposed coronavirus map to track COVID-19 cases. Clicking on the link activated information, sort of put the malware on people's computers, stealing their passwords, etc. I mean, we face this all the time. We get all those emails from distressed people in different parts of the world saying, transfer us money. So I think there are issues, whether it's at individual level or whether it's at organizational level. So I think we have to make sure we are providing training, ongoing training to all staff so that they don't become victims of phishing attacks or other vulnerabilities in the IT infrastructure. So I think biggest challenge is resources. Every organization, whether they're very wealthy, they still have limited resources, how much they can devote to cybersecurity or to IT infrastructure. Costs are also a big issue, but then also lack of knowledge in terms of what type of solutions are there and how do you grade these different solutions. You don't want to buy into a solution that also basically victimizes you in the long run, because information is power. Everyone is extracting or harvesting information. So we want to make sure our cybersecurity providers are also secure and safe. So there are all of those issues that small to medium organizations face. I think if we talk about the governments, even though they may have very strong commitments to cybersecurity, again, resources become an issue, and then also appropriate systems being put in place. Our recommendation is capacity building to ensure everyone in a team, IT team, as well as in the entire organization understands the need for cybersecurity so that they are actively participating in training programs. I mean, I get very regular updates on taking knowledge updates on cybersecurity. Often people don't view these things very seriously. That's a problem. Outsourcing cybersecurity as a service from specialized providers. So again, maybe paying per seat or other kind of making arrangements so that your organization is receiving regular updates on challenges related to cybersecurity. And as I mentioned earlier, training and refresher training for the IT managers as well as the teams in all. So I think as we know that the world is not the same where you'll just put your paper documents under a pillow, or even when you would save things on your hard drive or on your floppies. These days, we live in a connected world. All our data is up in the cloud. We are constantly connected to the system. So if we do not safeguard our devices or our overall infrastructure, we continue to be very vulnerable. I'll stop there. And I think, Imran, if you have the next part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Niraj Kak, for such a wonderful presentation. And now I think we may ask participants if they have any question to please type your questions in the question and answer box so we can respond at the end of the presentations. And at this point, I think I would request Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman to for his presentation. I would like to invite him. Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman, you are muted, I think. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Imran and Dr. Niraj and Mr. Sami. I would like to thank our today's participants and the panelists. Today we are discussing about the cybersecurity and digital transformation for international development and national security. Mushfiqur Rahman, I'm working for a bank in Bangladesh and as a Chief Information Security Officer. And last 20 years, I am working for a different area of information technology, including the cybersecurity. Today, we will discuss about the security implementation, different security risks in the different industry. Here I also discuss about the case studies on different cybersecurity threats. As well as also discuss about the preventive measures for cybersecurity. What are the preventive measures we can take for addressing the cyber threats in our organization? The defensive measures, what we can take for ensuring the security in the organization. Okay. So there are, first, I would like to discuss about the cyber threats in healthcare industry. You know, very earlier, like 2009, there was 1.2 million victims in 2009 in US, as well as these victims not only in US, all over the world in different countries, million people are become victim for cyber attack. Due to cyber attack, healthcare industry may face the loss of customers' data, unauthorized changes in databases, systems breakdown means unavailability of information systems, servers, and services. This type of attack may create health risk, identity theft of the customer, patients, financial frauds, as well as inability to operate, financial losses, damage to reputation of the organization. These are very sensitive and critical. As we know, the Health Insurance and Portability Act, HIPAA, as well as GDPR, as well as the Digital Security Act in different countries, Cybersecurity Act, IT Security Act, a different kind of government laws and regulations and acts available, where organization need to comply with these regulations and rules, as well as laws, land of laws. Other than that, if organization cannot able to ensure the compliance with the regulatory requirements as well as the Cybersecurity Act, then organization may face the lawsuit against the organization. So organization need to consider that kind of that kind of preventive measures to save the customer data from the cyber attack. %90 of healthcare organizations had a data breach in first 2 years, according to Ponemon's research. 45% of them had more than 5 data breaches. Sixth annual benchmark study, privacy, security, healthcare data, 0.4 million, 0.5 million. Day by day, that data data loss or cyber attack is increases. So what are the process attacker follow to perform the cyber attack in the organization's information systems, like ransomware, network attack, phishing attack, malware attack, espionage attack, unauthorized access, and as well as network intrusion. So these are the attacks organization face from the attackers end. From different attackers and the different intruder try to intrude the organization's applications, information system. It can be software as a service infrastructure, or infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service. Any kind of infrastructure organization may maintain, but attacker first try to analyze, identify the vulnerable systems, vulnerable organization, and then they try to compromise the systems, maybe application server or database server. And then they initiate the attack. And this attack, few attacks only try to collect the data of customers, personally identifiable information, and based on that personally identifiable information, they generate the attack to individual level, victim level. That's why organization, whenever collect information regarding the health related data, or bank information, or financial information, all kind of info, or employee information. Consider this scenario. Hospitals may have the customer data, as well as they may have the database which contain the customer health related informations, and this health related information also have the stored the data about the personally identifiable information and the financial information, because the patient need to pay the hospital payment, and their bank information, their credit card information, as well as health hospital also store their employees data, their doctors data and information, their education background, their personally identifiable information, all the bank information, all these things also stored. So a hospital store customer data, hospitals data, employees data, patients data and information. So these hospital need to ensure the security for all kind of data and all kind of stakeholders informations and data. So if they cannot ensure the security for all that kind of stakeholders data, then they may face the different kind of losses to non-compliant of different kind of regulators or land of laws violations. Like if they violate the data, if they are unable to ensure the security health related data, then they face the HIPAA non-compliance. If they unable to secure the employee data, then they face the GDPR, the GDPR lawsuits. So these are the risks for the organization, and organization need to ensure that security. Otherwise, they will face they will face business loss as well as lawsuits against the organization. So why that kind of cyber security or cyber attack happen? We know that any the total the 70% of attack, cyber security attack, commit only for the knowledge gap of our end users as well as our IT professionals. So this is why organization need to ensure the skill up of the organization employees. For IT people like system administrator, network administrator, database administrator, software developer, including the end users of the applications or IT systems. If organization cannot ensure that level of skill excellence for their employees, then anytime the organization face cyber attack, because it is very important to manage the emotion. That is why in cyber security field we say we need to build human firewall. Because say you have a information security professional, or you have a network administrator who have the industry leading certification like CCNP, CCIE, or Checkpoint or Palo Alto certification to manage your networks, your firewalls, but he is not properly motivated to perform his or her job properly as per the organization policy, and he is not know about the compliance related issues of the organizations. And then if he miss any configuration and make any configuration error, then your organization will face the regulatory non-compliance, and this will increase your penalty as well as the reputation loss, which may lead the business loss as well. That is why it is important for the organization to ensure the skill skill enhancement for their employees, to minimize the gaps of skill and build an emotional firewall for their people. If people end user to IT experts, if they have the motivation and emotional awareness how they handle the digital environment, cyber environment, to ensure the security in their IT environment, then only can organization can ensure the security, because 70% to 80% attack, cyber attack, commit only for the users and administrators awareness, lack of awareness. Okay, so it is very important to ensure the awareness of the employees. So healthcare business concepts, healthcare need to ensure the protection of patients' records, maintain compliance with HIPAA, as well as retention, recoverability, security with the HIPAA law and regulations, as well as other law and regulation of the country, as well as regulatory requirements. Then secure communication about patient information, business partner and vendor integration, secure vendor integration, protect employee healthcare records, provide training to employees. Organization need to ensure the training for their employees, avoid fines from the government, maintain brand and reputation, minimize customer loss. So if organization can ensure the proper the information system management and information security governance, risk and compliance, GRC program in their organization, then it is possible to minimize the customer loss, minimize the business loss, maintain the brand reputation, avoid fines from government or not for due to non-compliance with government laws and regulations. So that is why organization need to ensure that kind of security and compliance activity. HIPAA in as well as other regulatory compliance and the compliance with the law and regulations ensure the increase the credibility of the organization, ensure the profitability, ensure the sustainable growth for the organization, because proper governance, risk and compliance, good governance management, good risk management in information security area and compliance ensure the profitability and sustainable growth for the organization. So it is very important to ensure the compliance with regulator requirements. So in any organization, organization protect their data in USB, CD, DVD, Bluetooth, as well as storage of data, music, flash drives, SSD hard disk, tape drives. In different format, organization store their data, and in different format they need to ensure different level of security for ensuring the privacy of the data. So compliance, maximum organization think that compliance is the support part of the organization, but always it is not true, because as we discussed earlier, compliance ensure the compatibility, compliance ensure the sustainability, and compliance ensure the good governance. Good governance means good governance ensure the accountability of the employees of the organization as well as the stakeholder of the organization. So all the parties of the organization ensure the proper growth and the security and profit for every party or for every stakeholder of the organization. So these make extra cost, but in long term, if we consider then it actually not cost. It's a business enabler. If you have the emotionally competent and if you can create human firewall in your organization, these people will be more motivated and to perform their duties and responsibilities. If the organization's employees perform their duties and responsibilities properly, then it ensure the satisfaction of the customer, and the satisfaction of the customer logically enhance the profitability for the organization. So in that way, the compliance activity and the education and training for the employees ensure the growth of profit for the organization. So in that way, organization's decision maker can think and they get the motivation for their people's development. So corporate access to data, central deployment management and updates, initial ongoing management of cost, user experience also become more effective and efficient. So organization need to perform the HIPAA assessment, security assessment, governance, risk and compliance. For that purpose, we may provide the support for enhancing your quality, your people's quality, your people's awareness. Your people means, I mean the people who manage your IT infrastructure, your IT administrators, including the business users and your end users, as well as the compliance status of your organization. You may hire the people or organization who is capable to analyze your organization existing environment and identify the gaps and give you the feedback what are the initiatives you need to take to ensure the security, what are the approaches you need to take for implementing the security and compliance activity. And then it will be showcased as you are HIPAA compliant organization, you are ISO 27001 certified organization, your systems are properly vulnerability assessment and penetration tested by the competent organization, and your people attend in ICT security awareness training, a cyber security awareness training, and they got the certificate. And these will be the showcase for your customer, and these showcases and certification will enhance your credibility to your customer, and these also enhance your profit. So in that way, organization may think deploy their budgets for deploy their budget in cybersecurity program. So whenever we go for the advisory or consultancy or training, then your organization need to know that kind of awareness. Like, will you allow the USB? Will you allow the vendor network in your network? Will you allow vendor personnel in your systems through remote access? So these are the awareness thing, and these are the policy, process, procedure thing which you need to consider, and you need to develop your policy, process, procedure guideline for ensuring the security in your organization, which will help you to lead the security in your organization. The 3 P's is very important for the organization. Policy. Your organization must have the policy. So your people, IT people can build the IT policy, cybersecurity policy for your organization, or you can hire the organization like equity business, ABS, to prepare policies by analyzing the regulatory requirement, your land of law requirement, and based on that they prepare the policies and process procedure, and the procedure, how you configure your systems, how you run your IT system to continue your business. So you must have the procedure. Procedure is the step-by-step guideline, step-by-step configuration of your servers, of your system, a step-by-step guideline for the software development of your organization. Okay, so these are the procedure and practices. How the proof actually we see from our security assessment and risk assessment practices. I have seen a lot of organizations, they have the policy, they have the procedure, they have the processes, but when we ask, please and review the actual practice as is, what actually have in their environment, then we see their policy and procedure only in their papers, that they do not practice. So that is why it is very important. The policy alone cannot ensure the security for your organization. The procedure alone cannot ensure the security for your organization. If you do not have the practices of the policy and procedure and actual implementation, if it is not available in your organization, then you will not be able to ensure the security and implement the security. That is why it is very, very important that your information security people, your IT administrators, as well as your end users have proper awareness, training, education, and skills to ensure the policies and procedures are implemented, and they have that motivations, so they practice the policy and procedure in your organization environment. Otherwise, policy and procedure will be only the papers. Papers cannot ensure the security. Always keep it in mind, my friends. So there are a lot of case studies. I'll not go very detail on that. So see case study 1 in healthcare industry. Advocate Healthcare Network, $5.5 million losses, largest HIPAA settlement as of September 2016. Result of 3 separate data breaches, affected total of 4 million individuals. One incident involved an unencrypted laptop that was stolen from an employee vehicles. Another incident involved the theft of 4 computers. Okay, so these are the vehicle. From vehicle, the laptop was stolen, and that laptop have the stored data unencrypted way, and that unencryption and the unencryption, due to that unencryption, attackers can read and uses the data, which breach the confidentiality of the data. So then case study 2, this is email phishing. This is also called the social engineering. Social engineering means art of convincing people to get information from his or her mind, or that art of convincing people. Social engineering means art of convincing people to get information from his or her mind. Or that like if anyone like to get information from one person's mind, the manipulation of people mind, it is called social engineering. Email phishing by phishing mail is one kind of social engineering. So University of Washington Medicine, they said that December 2015, the University of Washington Medicine was first investigated by the OCR. Facility suffered a significant security breach, inadvertently opened an email that contained malicious software. Over 90,000 digital patient health records were accessed and compromised by the attacker. Settlement of $750,000 was settlement for this cyber breach. So these are the impact, and very dangerous impact for the organization, which lead the business loss for the organization. So cybersecurity statistics, more than 90% of healthcare organizations have experienced a data breach in the first years. 34% of healthcare data breaches come from the unauthorized access or disclosure. 30% of all large data breaches hospitals account for. 88% of healthcare workers open phishing emails, faces phishing emails, like the social engineering. So these are the threats and attacks happen in different organizations in different countries in the world. So we need to ensure the security to comply with the laws, regulations. Otherwise, organization face the penalties, law enforcement sues, and the non-compliance activities. Okay, as these also lead the financial loss, reputation loss for the organization. So organization need to ensure the security culture, protect mobile devices, install firewalls and antivirus, anti-malware, control access of sensitive information, identity and access management, create a response plan, mitigate the effects of a cyber attack. So these are the things organization need to follow. This here I mentioned on for the healthcare, but it is not only for the healthcare. This is for any kind of organization like bank, financial or institutions, banking, as well as the government organization, healthcare, school, college, universities, power sector, as well as the national security. Because one person, if you have the 5,000 computers in your organization, if you have only one machine is vulnerable, and if the attackers can identify that vulnerable machine, this only one vulnerable machine is sufficient to compromise your whole network. And that is why it is very, very important to ensure that each and every organization, each and every computers, each and every systems in your organization is properly configured. It is not misconfigured, is properly patch updated, is properly managed, and these things only implement by the people whom are IT administrator, who are you end users, means people. With the ignoring people, you will not be able to ensure the security throughout your organization. That is why we say we need to ensure, we need to manage the emotional, we need to create the emotional environment, we need to create the emotional firewall, means human firewall. We people, we are the innovative creation of the almighty. We are not artificial intelligence or machine learning algorithm. That is why that is why it is very important for the organization to create the security culture, because security, it is not something you can buy. Like you go to shop, visit the shop and say, please give me the security for $1,000 or $1 lakh. It's a culture, it's a process which you perform. Okay, if you don't perform, then it will not work. You have the maybe you have the checkpoint firewall or Cisco firewall or Palo Alto firewall, okay, but if you do not configure it properly, then this firewall cannot give you the expectable level security. So that is why it is very important to consider the emotional status of the people, of the person who which we say man behind the machine. So it is very important. Now you can see that a lot of cyber attack happen in the power sector in a different country, basically in US, Austria, Australia, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, Israel, Russia, okay, in all over the country, those who are the technology leaders, okay. So it doesn't mean that the technology leaders are safe from the cyber attack. Though they build this technological innovation, they create this technological innovation, but that does not ensure that they are secure if they do not properly follow the policy, procedure, and the practice. If these 3 P's are absent in the security culture, in any organization security culture, then the security mechanism will not work, and you cannot ensure the security. As well as here, I would like to mention that it is not possible to ensure the 100% security. 100% security, there is no word in dictionary is 100% security. There is a risk. Zero risk is not possible. So always we need to ensure that risk is acceptable level. We need to put the risk in acceptable level. To keep the risk in acceptable level, we need to work. Now I can show you, I am showing you the attack in bank in different countries. You can see that 100 banks attacked by attackers, and the attacker intruder stole $1 billion from these 30 countries, 100 financial institutions, and 300 IPs. Okay, how they do that? They create a malware like Carbanak. The malware name is Carbanak. This malware was attached with the email, and this email was opened by the bank employees, and click on the file, and the file automatically install the malware Carbanak. And this malware still create the manipulation, like if the customer account have the $1,000, then it makes it $10,000, and then steal the $9,000 and transfer the payment by using the digital channels of the bank, okay, without creating any physical communication with the bank. Just steal the money using the digital channels of the bank. In that way, in every industry, that's what I want to mention, like healthcare, like government agencies, power sector, bank, okay, roads and highways, everywhere they can create the chaos and compromise the systems as they think. If the organizations fail to ensure the security and proper configuration of their systems. And then another attack I would like to mention here, it is also very sensitive and critical attack, like Target. You know the Target chain shopping mall. It's a very renowned chain shopping mall. Target was compromised by the hacker group by using the HVAC vendor, servers of Target. Okay, so whenever we connect our vendors with our IT systems, with our data center, then it is very important to ensure the due diligence and proper security checkup of the vendor systems. If you allow vulnerable systems of your vendors to your network, then it may lead the attack in your system. They are PCI DSS, they are the PCI DSS compliance certified organization, and their PCI DSS compliance auditor was the Trustwave. They also sued, and then over 140 lawsuits was there, $20 million cost for them. Profits dropped 46%. Customer business down entire 2014. A stock down 50% after incident. So these are the impact, very, very bad impact and sensitive impact of the organization. So organization need to ensure the security. If organization unable to ensure the security, then that kind of challenges organization face. Okay. So all we understand that the different kind of attack and how the attack is propagate, and you see different kind of attack and malware in 2022. Okay, I'm not discussing these attacks. So these are ongoing process. So organization need to ensure the security defensive architecture design. Whenever attacker initiate any attack in to any organization or victim, they normally follow the 7 steps. Like reconnaissance means information gathering, then weaponization means collecting the malware, then deliver the malware to the victim systems, then they try to exploit the systems, then they try to install the malware in the target network, and then they try to communicate and maintain the communication with the target system, and then they perform the actions on the objective. Any single mitigation breaks the chain. This is the attack chain. Any mitigation in any stage ensure the not to propagate the attack in next step of the attack chain. Okay, so organization need to ensure the security assessment and risk assessment by the efficient and competent security and risk assessor, vulnerability assessor, and penetration tester. And that kind of organizations need to hire to perform their security review, information system security review on behalf of the organization. So organization can identify the vulnerabilities earlier and then can take the proper steps, okay, to implement the defensive architecture for their organization. Okay. So defense in depth very important. Whenever we perform any transaction using the online or web-based application, using web-based application and internet-facing application, there must be a user who initiate the transaction, and then it come through our network using the internet. Then it will face the router, firewall, next generation firewall, then web application firewall, then DMZ, then web server, then application server, then web application server, then database. Anywhere it get the vulnerability, then the transaction will drop. And each and every step of total transaction, organization need to ensure the hardening, of the organization's the systems. Like they need to ensure the secure software development. They need to ensure the secure configuration of their next generation firewall, secure configuration of their web application firewall, secure configuration of their web services operating system, application server operating system, database server application, the database server operating system, and their administrators. Everything must be in the, and the proper design of their IT infrastructure. If any one system, due to the lack of proper configuration of only one system, can lead the cyber attack and can bypass all the security mechanism of the system, that it is called the defense in depth. Whenever we perform the design for the organization's IT infrastructure, then organization need to ensure that the defense in depth means need to ensure the security in layered approach. We need to implement the zero trust in our network. Never trust, always verify. Trust is the vulnerability. So we need to eliminate the trust in our policy, in our IT systems, for devices, for data, for network, for workload, for people. Means untrusted people will not connect in our system. Untrusted workload will not able to communicate with our systems. Untrusted network will not be able to connect in our network infrastructure. Untrusted data will not be able to get in our network. Untrusted devices will not be able to connect in our ITC's infrastructure. So in that level, we need to ensure the zero trust. Zero trust means never trust, always verify. So for that reason, we need to ensure the least privilege, micro-segmentation, risk-adaptive security. Okay. This is the security matrix which organization need to implement. For we see the attack, intrusion, kill chain, reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, action on objective. In each step, we need to implement the security solutions, policy, process, procedure for detect the attack, prevent the attack, disrupt the attack, degrade the attack, deceive the attack, destroy the attack. If we can implement the security in that way, then it will ensure, it will help us to ensure the security in our organization IT systems. So organization need to design, implement, and operate, and periodically organization need to assess by external people of their security implementation in their IT infrastructure. So to perform the proper security in the organization and to design the secure software, secure IT infrastructure in the organization, you know, Department of Defense of USA have the directives 8570, now it is called 8140. They have the directives for the technical people and management level people, which indicate that that kind of organizations people have that following certifications, which ensure the minimum level of security of that organization's people. And for to achieve these things, organization need to train their people and the people also need to have these certification. If anyone have this certification, this will lead you the good job with high salary offer in the organization in different industry. Because cyber, we do not consider only the job, we need to consider the career. The career ensure the career is the long-term approach of job. Okay, so for the technical level 1, A+, network defender, network plus, cyber security analyst, security plus, or CCNP, CISA, CISSP certification. Analyst level require for the certification Okay, so we need to ensure that proper security and proper configuration, proper security, and to ensure the proper security, we need to have our people have that level, that kind of certification, like certified ethical hacker, certified information system auditor, certified information security professional, certified secure software lifecycle professional, security plus, cloud plus, certified information security manager. So that kind of security also, that kind of certification help the organization to have the certification, certified people in their organization. Okay, so here I have seen one of our participant friends ask a question that this is only the reason that HVAC system vulnerability. No, I don't think so. Yes, insider threats is very important. Insider threats is most critical thing. Like, see, HVAC vendors, HVAC environment management system connection, connecting the vendors environment management system which control the HVAC of the target system is done by the people who is insider. The insider, if the insider have that level of knowledge, skill, and the motivation before connecting any devices, any network, we need to perform the security assessment, risk assessment, and then if found, if the things is okay, then only can we connect the third-party system and remote connectivity in our network. Then they perform that things, proper due diligence, maintain the proper due diligence and due care. This is the lack of due care and due diligence and the motivation. That is why that kind of system, that is why that kind of attack happened. That is why also we mentioned that, I also mentioned that we need to ensure, we need to manage the emotion of our people. To manage the emotion of the people, we need to arrange motivation training, motivational awareness, and the proper skills up for the people. Okay, thank you. Thank you for today. If anyone have more questions, I can answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful and informative presentation, Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman. So I would just to conclude, I would request Dr. Niraj Kak to say anything if you want to add anything with this.
Thanks, Imran, and thanks, Mr. Rahman. You gave a very excellent overview of the challenges with cybersecurity and the need for cybersecurity infrastructure and an attitudinal change about it, because I think, as you immensely highlighted, that a lot of companies with a lot of resources in the developing world have faced major challenges with ensuring cybersecurity. So it's very important that there's a a very comprehensive structures put in system in each organization, which minimize external threats. And as again, Mr. Rahman talked about, that you cannot totally eliminate, but you need to see what is acceptable. So with that, I think I want to thank all of you. And I know there was a question about the relationship between insider threat or between an insider and one of the groups that may be prying on your organization. So I think that is a major challenge. It's always, as Mr. Rahman pointed out, that in these the way this people exploit systems, there's always through phishing, or you may be also a active person sitting inside who understands the systems and then sees what can be breached and all that. So yes, I think we have to be very aware of those issues and make sure that our systems are appropriately designed. I think, again, each organization should go through a checklist to see what's working, what are sensitive points that could be breached by an external group or by ransomware. So I think, again, they should look at all of those things and then build appropriate cybersecurity infrastructure in the organization. I think with that, I would like to thank everyone. We will be sending out a recording of this, and we hope to continue our discussion and dialogue on this. Thank you, Imran.
Thank you, Dr. Niraj.
Thank you, Mr. Niraj. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Niraj. Thank you, Mr. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.